Okay, today we're going to take a look at proofs. Like I said, a lot of people tend to shy away from proofs because they think it's really hard, but it's really not if you know why you've done everything you've done up to this point. Okay, so here's a proof. Two triangles are joined together. You're given AB is congruent to DE, and the angle BAD and ADE are right angles. Okay, the question is, go ahead and prove that angle ADB is congruent to angle DAE. Alright, so take a look at the picture. You're going to have statements and reasons. Now, I'm going to do this completely from scratch with statements and reasons, but when you see it on the EOC, 9 times out of 10, all they'll do is they'll ask you to fill in the reasons, and they'll leave one blank. But I need you to understand the process so that you could do each proof. Okay, then after I go through about 3 examples, I'm going to take a look at maybe shortcuts that you could work with in order to do like your work a little bit faster. All right, so statements. A proof always starts with a statement and then a reason for that statement. For example, a statement. I am making this video. Why am I making this video? To help you with proofs. Statement, reason. Okay, so you always start with whatever you're given in the problem. So you're given AB is congruent to DE. And why is that? Why am I? Because they tell me in the problem. It's given. So it is given. Then I'm given angle BAD and angle ADE are right angles. So angle BAD and angle ADE are right angles. And I'm going to put mine in like that, like right angles. Okay. 90 degrees. Sorry, not with that one. Are right angles without the little sticky mark. All right, how do I know that? It's given in the problem. All right, now the question becomes, what do we do with that? So as you can see, what I've gone ahead and done is sometimes it's easier to prove triangles are congruent when you separate them. So I've gone ahead and separated the 2 triangles, so this is what we look like. So this is what we're given. AB is congruent to DE. And again, these little ticks means congruent. 1 tick is congruent to 1 tick. If you have 2 ticks, it will be congruent to 2 ticks. You're given BAD, so the included angle is the angle made by those 2 lines, is 90, and that's also ADE. ADE is also 90. So that's all that they give you in the problem. Now we need to go ahead and solve this. All right, so remember, if you're trying to solve congruency, you need the ASA stuff, the SSS, the AAS, and things like that. So you can have any order except donkey forwards, which is, remember, I don't curse, donkey forwards, donkey backwards, SSA, or AAA batteries. Okay, so everything but that. So obviously, if I have a side and an angle, the only thing missing is an angle or a side. Something's missing. So I need to find out what that is. All right, from this picture, what other piece of information can I get from? Okay, you will notice that they both share the line AD. AD is the same for both of them. So I can say that AD is congruent to AD. Now that sounds very elementary, but that's actually what it is. AD is congruent to AD. Overlapping triangles will sometimes have shared sides or angles, so you need to be on the lookout for that. So how do I represent that in the picture? I can go ahead and say AD is congruent to AD. It's the exact same line because, again, I've just separated the triangles, but AD is the same for both triangles. Okay, so now the question is, why is AD equal to AD? Okay, so anytime you have shared sides, okay, you are looking at the mirror. You're looking at reflexive. Reflexive. Okay, so the reason why AD is equal to AD is because of reflexive property of, now you're going to see congruence and equality. Again, remember, congruence has to deal with when you don't have a measurement, whereas equality, you have a number, like 10 is equal to 10. That will be equality. So reflexive property of congruence would be this answer. I can't fit it. flex or congruence. Now, once I have that information, the question now is why is triangle ADB congruent to triangle DAE? So why are these two triangles congruent? Look at it. You need 3 pieces of information again. So you need, I have 3 pieces. Now I can start from anywhere as long as I don't skip more than 2. So say I started from here, okay? If I went angle side, I'd have to go angle or side. So since there's nothing there, I can't go there. So let's say I start from here. If I go side, I can't skip 2. Okay, I can only skip 1. That means I can start from here and go side, angle, side, or I can start from here and go side, angle, side, whichever way. And if I was handing in some work, I would go ahead and draw an arrow as to which way I went. I went side, angle, side. And then I'm going to just double check to make sure the other triangle goes the same way. 1 tick, box, 2 ticks. 1 tick, box, 2 ticks. All right, so again, this is what I did. All right, and I went angle, I'm sorry, not angle, side, angle, side. Side, angle, side. And that's it. That's all that there is to a proof. The only way that you get better with proofs is practice. Okay, so we're going to take a look at another example. I'm going to go through this one a little bit faster. Again, you can see that they have information that's already there. You just need to fill in what you're missing. This is more like what your EOC is going to look like. All right, so we're going to fill in what we are given. All right, so AB is congruent to BC. How do I know this? Because it's given. It's given in the problem. Go ahead and represent it on the picture. AB is congruent to BC. Given. Okay. BD is an angle bisector of ABC. BD is an angle bisector of ABC. What does the word bisector mean? Cuts the angle in half. Well, if it goes ahead and cuts the angle in half, you can tell me then that this angle is equal to this angle because it's cut it in half. Okay. So what else is given in the problem? BD is a bisector of ABC. BD bisects angle ABC. That's given. All right, definition of a bisector. Okay, to define that, that's ABD, angle ABD is congruent to angle ABD is congruent to CBD. Angle CBD. Why? Because that's what bisector means. It means cut in half. If you cut something in half, each half is equal. So why is it congruent? Why is this equal to this? Because you just cut it in half. Simple. All right, the next thing that you're going to do. So I've got 2 pieces of information. I need a third. Okay, what else is in the picture that I can automatically see? BD is equal to BD. In other words, they share a line. So because they share a line, I can say side. BD is congruent to BD. And remember what I just said about anything that shares. If you're sharing a line, you're really looking in the mirror. So you are watching your reflection because it's the exact same lines. Like you're looking in the mirror and you're seeing yourself, the exact same person. So reflexive. Oh, that is not how you spell that. Reflexive property of congruence. All right, now the question is, why are the 2 triangles equal? Okay, again, find 3 pieces of information. And maybe it's easier if I just cover this up. You see 3 pieces of information. Now you have to go in order. So if I start here, I can't skip 2 things. So I can't skip an angle and a side. All right, so I go side, angle, side. I didn't skip anything. I can go side, angle, side. All right. So again, just show me the direction. If you're showing me work, show me the direction that you ended up going. You can't see that. This is how we're going. That's how I'm reading it. Side, angle, side. And I didn't skip more than 1 thing. So side, angle, side. The triangles are congruent. Now, because the triangles are congruent, that means this triangle is exactly this triangle. That means this side is equal to this side. This side is equal to this side. This side is equal to this side. This angle is equal to this angle. This angle is equal to this angle. It's exactly the same. The question is, why is AD right here, AD congruent to CD? Why are these two equal? Well, if it's the exact same triangle, because the corresponding parts are equal. In other words, corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruent. Fancy way of just saying, because this is congruent to this because it goes with this. Same triangle, so each part goes with each part on the other triangle. So this goes with this, which means corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruent. And that's all there is to it. We'll take a look at one more example. Again, this will be the last example I look at. Then I'm going to take a look at some practice problems to show you how to cheat. All right, so a statement. All right, so this one we're going to do completely from scratch. Again, WX is congruent to YZ. So this part right here, from here to here, is congruent to this part. So I'm going to do it. The statement is WX is congruent to YZ. How do I know that? It's given in the problem. Angle TXZ. Angle TXZ. So this angle here, okay, is congruent to VYW. VYW. So these two angles are congruent. Angle TXZ is congruent to angle VYW. How do I know that? It's given in the problem. Angle Z is congruent to angle W. Angle Z. Now, I'm not going to just put one, because if I put one, I'm making all of them congruent. It's different. So I'm going to put two arcs on this one. Angle Z is congruent to angle W. So two arcs. Okay. Angle Z is congruent to angle W. Perfect. And how do I know that? It is given. All right. Now, when the triangles are sharing sides like this, I like to draw a completely different triangle just because I don't want to get confused. So I'm going to go ahead and draw these two triangles and put the angles that I put in the new triangles. So I'm going to draw. Okay, now it may not look exactly, but that's all right. It's going to be all right. I'm going to try and make it look exactly. All right, so this is T, Z, and it comes to X. And this is Y, and it goes to V, and it goes to W. All right, putting in the information, I have an angle here at Z with two arcs, an angle here at W with two arcs, an angle here at Y with one, an angle here at X with one. All right, I'm not going to put ZY because you can see there is no ZY here. So knowing this information, I'm going to go ahead and try and figure out why the two triangles are congruent. All right, so I know that this is congruent to this. But do you also see that they share WX is the same for both? They share WX. So this is what I can say. I can say that XZ from X to Z is Y to Z, okay, from Y to Z, plus, so it's this part plus this part right here, which is XY. So this whole thing is this plus this, and that's going to give you the whole thing. Okay, now the reason for that is I'm adding something, right? So the property is called additive property of length. Okay, so this plus this is the whole thing. Do the same thing on the other side. Okay, so this plus this is the whole thing. So we're going to start with the whole thing, which is WY, just to keep it the same. It's congruent to WX, this part, plus this part right here, which is XY. Again, the reason is because we are adding additive property of length. Now, here's where it gets interesting, because you've all been asking me what substitution is. Okay, now, keep in mind what I said. I said this plus this is the whole thing. I said this plus this is the whole thing. Okay, now, what I'm going to say is this. X to Z is the same thing as saying WX plus XY. Now, why am I saying that? Because XY is the same for both. And I know that YZ and WX are the same. How do I know that? These little tick marks. So what I'm doing is I'm substituting WX for YZ. So XZ was YZ plus XY. I'm going to substitute WX in there because I know that this WX is the same as WZ. So now I can substitute it into there. And that is what substitution is. Now, once I've substituted there, I've now proved that this whole thing is congruent to this whole thing. So now I can go ahead and put that, because I now know that they're congruent. Do I have 3 pieces of information? I do. Again, read it. It doesn't matter which triangle. Read it in the same direction. Don't skip. So angle. So I can't go there. I can't go there. I can't skip 2. So let me go the other way. Angle, side, angle. So I'm reading it in this direction. And this is how you'd show me your work on your test. Angle, side, angle. I'm reading it in this direction. So triangle VWY is congruent to triangle TZX. Why? Because of angle, side, angle. Alright, and that's it. That's all there is to proofs. Again, proofs is practice and recognition. The more practice you have, the better you understand how to do proofs.